Every ounce of it, every drop, every taste, on the tip of my tongue, been my nail, bite my thumb. Ever did to want clear my name, baby, in your presence will be so forever, into the moment when I press my eyes shut. Now I'm ready. I'll do anything. I'm not asking this is mine through the perfect strings. 10,000 days on there. Days to clear our names. Oh, baby, it's our last kiss. Will last forever. That's the moment when I rest my eyes shut. Now I'm ready. Yeah, the only answer's what we've always wanted. Ooh, and we hold it till there's nothing else can let us down. The only answer's what we've always wanted. Oh, 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 oh. The only answer's what we've always wanted. Yeah, when we hold it till there's nothing else can let us down. The only answer's what we've always wanted. Oh, oh, oh. Every ounce of it.
Eject them, it's over! Top shelf where Mama hides the cookie! Here come the Buffalo Sabres!
Welcome to I'll Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Buffalo's premier market and tap room with 8 different Western New York locations and over 300 beers to choose from. Make sure you go check out at Fatty Beer, one of the New York's only kid and dog friendly bars, open 7 days a week from 10:30 a.m. to or 11:30 a.m. till 10:30 p.m. and later. Fatty Beer at Fatty Beer on Instagram and Twitter, and of course Buffalo Logo Apparel, one of the best spots to get all of your Buffalo sports apparel needs, from your shirts to your hats to your hoodies. They have everything at Buffalo Logo Co. on Instagram and Twitter. Buffalo loses. Speaking of Buffalo loses 3-1 in a must-win game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Same old Sabres, same old story. Don't show up for the first 30 minutes, and then the final 30 minutes, you finally decide to find your legs, and it's too little too late. You lose to another backup goalie, same old Sabres. Lose to a former Sabres goalie, Jonas Johansson, who honestly didn't really have to struggle much to find pucks, to see pucks tonight. It wasn't until a third period, so Buffalo really tried to play with any urgency, and it bit him in the ass. Let's be real. That's what happened here. It drives me nuts to see us play the way we did to start 2024, and with the way UPL has played in this stretch, and then you just can't go out and give any goal support. You don't play with urgency. The 2 turnovers that led to both goals are inexcusable. You can't give Casey Milstat can't give that puck away on the boards there. Just can't. And Alex Tuck, what are you doing on the blue line there to give it that shorthanded goal? That's inexcusable. Trying to dance a little too much, and you bit you right in the ass. So, but yeah, this was a must win. This is a team that's ahead of you in the standings. They're in your division. They're currently sitting in a wild card spot. This is a 4-point swing game. You gain 2 points on them, and you take 2 points away from them. Plain and simple. And you shit the bed. So I don't understand it. Just the lack of just not being able to string 3 wins in a row. Like, compared to what they were doing, especially in the second half of last season, the fact that they just can't figure it out and any type of semblance of consistency this season, it's really remarkable. Let's be real. And it's not, you can't play Chicago every game. You can't play San Jose every game. You can't play these bottom feeding teams every game. You're going to play teams like Tampa Bay, who are a cup contender, have been a cup contender now for a decade. And the blueprint for them, the way they play it, the coaching, it's all kind of the blueprint of what you want for this team. And they showed up. They only had 16 shots on net, but they pinned Buffalo down in the offensive zone. They didn't give up a lot. They played very well defensively. When they did get chances, they took the opportunity and they scored. It sucks. It's not on UPL when you can't score. Not. This isn't 1999 anymore, where you can win games 1 or 2-0 or 2-1 or 3-2 all the time. Like, you have to give your goaltenders goal support, and Buffalo just doesn't do that. Before we continue on, I'm going to actually kick things over to Hockey Hotline here. We had 5 callers call in, and here it is, Hockey Hotline. Welcome to Hockey Hotline. Sabres lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning 3-1, and we are here with your calls, your thoughts. We are going to start off with new caller, Will Fioricia. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Did I get that right, Will?
Close. It's actually pronounced Fiorica, but
Fiorica, I apologize.
Yeah.
Will, what are your thoughts on the game?
I mean, it's just like the continuous slow starts. That the power play is what really is like killing us the most. I really think so. And I said a tweet earlier that Alice should be fired after this game because just the consistent, just stagnant offensive zone movement is just really killing us right now. Where like you look at like Tampa Bay, they're getting like odd man chances and just like wide open guys because they just continually like move. And that's like one of the most frustrating things I've seen about this team, at least.
Yeah, it's people want to blame Adams coaching. I think it's the latter. Adams obviously didn't do enough in the offseason to prepare this team, I guess, for the regression it was bound to experience, and that's happened in spades with every single player on this roster except for JJ Paterka. And then Granato, I mean, listen, all these guys know how to play hockey. They played their entire lives at high levels. They know the X's and O's. So it's all about going out there and make hockey plays. But as a coach, it's your job to prepare them in each and every game to start, to your point, to start off hot, to start off fast with urgency. And here's another example against a good team in your division. This is a 4-point swing game that if you're being serious about making the playoffs, you have to win this game, and you come out with no points. So that to me, that's part of the coaching. Thanks, Will. We're going to move on to Josh Dinelli. Josh, thanks for calling in again, bud. You're on Hockey Hotline.
Hey, Duane, how are you, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. What do you have to say?
So pretty much 2 things. One, what a lackluster effort on Kids Day of all days, man. I would like to think that they'd have a little bit of more fire under their rear ends, with the future generations of Sabres fans in the arena. And secondly, I know back to the last caller's point or your counterpoint to him. I mean, this is a huge game. This three games in a row, 3 wins in a row. I feel like I called the other day and said, "Hey, they play good against the good teams, and then they do this." And a game they really, really, really needed to win. What do
Yeah.
they got to do to get 3 games going? I mean, they need to get a streak going.
It starts with preparation, playing with urgency, as I stated with the last caller. I really don't know, because you saw them string those types of streaks together last year a lot, especially in the second half of the season. They were scoring. I mean, they're nearly 50 goals behind pace from where they were last year. I think it's pretty damn close. It's something between probably 35 and 50 goals. And I see people that like to try and blame goaltending still. It's like, are you out of your mind? Like, what? Like, you would have had to essentially with them scoring 2 goals tonight, you would have had to win at the very least 3-2. You didn't score until late in the second. Was it late in the second period?
Yep.
It's for me. It's about preparation, playing with urgency, and to me, as the last caller, that starts with coaching. Making sure your guys are ready to go, fired up. At the end of the day, they've all played hockey at a very high level. They know the X's and O's of this game. They understand structure. They understand systems. It's your job to make sure that they're not, lagging behind, slacking, making the smart plays, not forcing pucks. And that's why I've been very loud about his coaching staff around him, because I really don't think he has enough experience on that bench. Josh, thanks for calling in, bud. We're going to move things over to Chris. Chris, hey. I like the background. Where are you at right now?
I'm at Wegmans right now, and I'm hoping.
You're at Wegmans. I love it. I love the passion. Chris, you're on Hockey Hotline. Let's hear your thoughts.
Well, once again, slow start for our team, and I can't count how many times me and you have beaten that whole thing to death. Just being off to a slow start. And I gotta say, ever since Granato was coaching this team, I felt like his decision making, when it comes to goalie rotations, I feel like is way off. In my opinion.
So you didn't like the situation with the goalie rotations coming into this, having UPL start as many games as he has in a row.
Those games.
I think we're losing you, Chris. Oh, there you are. Can you repeat that?
I feel like Levi should have started one of those games.
I agree with you. I think I was pretty loud about it. It should have been the Chicago game. 1,000%. It was against the worst team in the National Hockey League without Bedard. It would have made sense. And obviously that wasn't the reason they lost tonight. UPL played fine. There was no reason for them to lose this game. They only had 16 shots on net. But it's
also. I'm sorry, but it's like Tage said. Tage said in the post game, let them off easy. That's what they did.
Yeah, 100%. And at the end of the day, it's a Tampa Bay Lightning. They've been cup contenders every single season for a decade now for a reason. They're well coached. They're well put together. They have a lot of veteran experience, high scoring ability, and great defending. And you got schooled tonight by Jonas Johansson, former Sabres goaltender. You didn't really make things tough for him tonight. You waited until we had 25-ish minutes left in the game, 25, 30-ish minutes left in the game to finally show up. And that's been the story of this team, is slow starts, strong finishes. And by that point, when you finally start to find your legs, it's too little too late. So thanks again, Chris, for calling in. That has been Hockey Hotline. We're going to wait here. I think one more caller coming in. And we got returning caller Michael Carr on Hockey Hotline. Mike, thanks for calling in. You're on Hockey Hotline. What are your thoughts?
I just looked up the score. I noticed they lost 3-1. I actually had practice for the veteran Sabres Warriors team, so I missed the game. But who did Tampa have in net?
Jonas Johansson, former Sabres goaltender.
I figured. I feel like he has our number. We just can't beat him.
He's got a couple wins against us. Yep.
I know Marty Braun was having a nice debate yesterday on their show, and he said he would have started Vasilevsky. I can't say his name properly. My bad, guys. But I agree. I think Jonas should have started. because they got a game tomorrow as well. So, but yeah, he seems like he's got our number. Who scored for us tonight or today?
Dylan Cousins, late in the second period. And they really just didn't show up. So honestly, late in the second period, the last 30 minutes of the game, they finally started to find their legs. Another slow start, but strong finish, but it was too little, too late.
Right. Yeah, it seems to be the MO. It's the first period is kind of a drag typically. I think last year obviously we got spoiled and it was like constant excitement throughout the games, and now it's kind of just dull at times. And I don't know what they could do to change that. Who played for us tonight or today in that?
It was UPL. UPL had
UPL
the
again?
start.
Yeah.
They loaned Levi to Rochester. So he can get a game in tonight with the Amherst. And I think the plan is after he plays tonight to bring him back up for their West Coast trip out against Anaheim, back to back against Anaheim and LA.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
who did Comrie come up to fill in or no?
Yep, Comrie is behind the net as a backup.
Okay.
So
yeah, I know he was pretty good too down low.
But any questions or concerns from you before we get going here?
No, man. I just hope they start turning things around. It might be too late, but build. Try to figure something out here. Build something.
Yep, I agree. Hey, Mike, thanks always for calling in on Hockey Hotline. And we got Gene Mark. I'm not going to try and butcher your last name, but Gene, thanks for hopping on Hockey Hotline. What are your thoughts, bud?
I mean, it was sloppy all night. I mean, it just looked like they were trying to push too much instead of like the stretch pass. Stretch pass was all over the place. Instead of trying to carrying it up, it just looked like Tampa was clogging up everything. They were trying the stretch pass way too early. It started to work towards the end of the game, but during like the beginning of the game, it wasn't working at all. And they didn't switch anything up. And I think Tage said it perfectly. It was sloppy. Everything was sloppy about that game. Third period, they started to bring it together, but they couldn't put it past Johansson.
Yeah, actually, I agree with all points that you just made. The stretch pass, which has been a big part of their breakout all season. They just don't make many in-game adjustments. They like to beat a dead horse, right? Like it's just like it'll work eventually, like that, like flip play, like they do coming out of their own end, hoping that it's there for a rushing forward. Like it just doesn't work. Or if it does happen to work 1 every 10 times you try it, then what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. I mean, but they're also young, so you gotta keep it simple with these guys. But once they get in that 2-0 hole, like they try to make those stretch passes work and try to get up zone faster, but it wasn't working because Tampa's more experienced team, an older team that they can sit back and they can adjust to those things.
Yeah, like if you're a hockey player growing up, you also know the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. They don't tend to do that, man. The Casey giveaway in the first goal, just trying to make a cute play on the backhand up the boards instead of protecting the puck more there. And then obviously Alex Tuck at the blue line on the power play, giving up that shorthanded goal. That was a backbreaker early in the first period. But
I think you and I have talked about this a couple times. The power play just looks absolutely atrocious. It doesn't look good. They're trying to push it to one side. Everybody knows it's coming. Instead of trying to work down low and work in that angle, which would actually prevent the teams from covering that left side on Thompson.
Correct.
They could literally work down low, work it up top to Darlene for a one-timer. Instead of trying to force it over to Thompson, force it over to Darlene up top, you need to work it down low and look for that bump pass. That bump pass worked all last year, and now they're not using it at all, it feels like.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. To your point, the bumper spot there. Very good point, Sheen. Thanks for calling in, bud. We're going to get things back to Hockey Hotline here. Thanks, everybody, for calling in.
See you guys.
And that was Hockey Hotline. Thank you to everybody that called in. Mike, Josh, Chris, Will, and, of course, Gene Mark there at the end. A lot of good points made. Why can't you string 3 wins together? To Gene's, what's the sloppy play, especially coming through the neutral zone, that stretch pass that they kept trying to make work throughout the game and it wasn't working. And I don't know, is it the lack of ability to make in-game adjustments is for in terms of your coaching style. I mean, again, I will hammer this point home all day. These guys know how to play hockey. They know the X's and O's. They know different systems. They know different structures. They've played in them more, even before Granato. They've probably played in some system or structure similar to what Granato wants done before this. And we saw it work last year in spades. They were the top 5 scoring team in the National Hockey League by year's end. And I'm not sure exactly where they ranked, but they were top 5 for sure. At what point do we start saying, Granato, like, what are you not doing to get these guys ready game in and game out? Like, why is it in-game situation, like in-game decisions that need to be made more? Benching players for poor play mid-game? Is it just taking a guy off to the side from the bench and just, saying, hey, this is what you're doing, this is what I want, this is what you're doing wrong, this is what you need to do in order for this to work? I don't know. You guys heard me talk about it before, not to beat a dead horse here, but the staff around him just isn't getting it done either. You do yourself no favors having a bunch of inexperienced guys behind an NHL bench who probably don't deserve to be there. And rather than, we've seen it with Edmonton. Was it Knobloch or whoever his name was, that they fired him mid-season, and now you've seen Lambert get the door on the island. The New York Islanders fired their head coach and now hired Patrick Waugh, of all people. I don't think anybody saw that coming. And we all know that guy, has some fire and has some passion and isn't afraid to let you know how he feels. I'm not advocating for a coach like Patrick Waugh, because with the good, there's a lot of bad too. But at the end of the day, I think this team needs accountability. They just need accountability, and I don't feel like there is. I mean, that's the one thing we keep talking about throughout this season is accountability or lack thereof. Like, why aren't players being held accountable? You talk that empty net goal, for instance. Owen Power gets beat to negate the icing. Inexcusable. Tage not being right on the puck. Inexcusable. And then Owen Power not getting in front of that shot from center ice to stop it from going to the empty net. Inexcusable. 3 things inexcusable. Honestly, if I were Don Granato, I know this is the NHL, you don't ever see this, but I'd taken both of those guys after the game. And I said, you're staying on the ice and you're doing suicides. Straight up. And you're doing it in front of our fans. I don't care. Because that is ridiculous. These guys are paid a lot of money. A lot of money. That was a joke. An absolute joke. And that's not even just for a lack of skill or know-how. It's just laziness. No urgency. That's what that was. You have 2 first-round picks, one of them a former first overall pick, and they're not showing urgency. Owen Power essentially doing like the Olay, the bull rider on that shot in the empty net. Like, what are you doing there? Just get in front of the puck. These slow starts, lack of ability on your power play, and just not playing well below the dots on each end of the ice are the reason why this team will not make the playoffs this year. Those 3 things. And you can kind of loop coaching into that as well. I don't know. I mean, I don't think you'll see an in-season change with Granato. If they decide to go in a different direction, that probably happens at the end of the season, in the off season. But I wouldn't be against it at this point. I really wouldn't, because this team just lacks urgency and lacks desperation. We're gonna hit the peanut gallery here, John Stanton. Just like always, the Sabres always say, there's always next year. Just like always, the Sabres always say. I'm sorry, that was like some word salad there. I apologize. Also from John Stanton. I'm officially on the fire Donnie train. Bad line and same mistakes. Bad lines and same mistakes over and over again. From our best friend Mauricio, too many missed scoring opportunities, perimeter shots. I'm fed up. From I haven't seen this one before. Mathematics. They don't care about future generations of Sabres fans. They're just waiting to get traded and get out of here. I don't think you sign 7-8 year deals if you don't want to be in Buffalo. I don't know. Thompson played poorly on power play, cost the Sabres when shorthanded. Pass the puck, stop holding the puck. Agreed. And Tuck, being put in a position there where he tried to get cute, and it cost him a shorthanded goal. Power play looks lackluster. Thompson one-trick pony. I think Thompson's more than a one-trick pony, but I do understand your point there. They try and expose him. He gets overexposed in that spot. To Gene Mark's point from Hockey Hotline, they don't use that bumper spot enough. And I think that a lot of people, have said it in the past, and I'll say it now. Why not just have a shot like Olofsson on the opposite side who just takes attention away from Thompson? Or maybe Thompson will take attention away from him, and that opens him up to release that unreal shot that he has, that we all know he has. We haven't seen it yet this season, and it drives me nuts. Watching this from Crunch Tonawanda as we speak. Love it, Trevor. Love it. They have been talking about it for a little. He isn't a great coach, and it didn't work in Colorado. Yeah, I don't think he is a great coach, but I also I understand why the move is being made. Again, maybe he'll be a good fit on the island. I don't know. I'm not advocating for a coach like Patrick Waugh because, as I said before, with the good comes a lot of bad. But at the end of the day, you do need some type of shakeup behind that bench. Also from Trevor, watch this. There we go. You guys don't want to work during the game. No problem. We'll work now. I love it. Yeah, exactly. Herb Brooks, shout out there. I just don't understand it. There needs to be accountability, and there's none. There's just none. From Jody Jones, what do you think the Islanders firing their coach being only 2 points out of the playoff spot? I think that means they hold their coach and their team to a higher standard, and they don't like what they're seeing. And maybe Lou Lamoriello feels like he might be in the hot seat too, and he knows that this team needs to make the playoffs. I would wish that Kevin Adams would kind of think like that, because what's going on right now in Buffalo is not working. Owen Power is the Roger Dorn of the Sabres, just a high price. Where's the talent? Here's the thing. I know we're going to see a lot. Owen Power's a bust. First overall pick. What a waste. This, that, the other. Owen Power is not a bust. Owen Power is a very, very good player and will be a very, very good player. You can't teach size, but the one thing you can teach, and you need to maybe learn it or acquire it, I don't know, is just playing with jam and grit and just being tough to play against. Because right now, he's not hard to play against. He's only in his second year in the NHL. He's a 21-year-old kid. He's going to have to go through a lot of growing pains, but he needs to learn how to be tough to play against. People got to hate going in one-on-one with him, and they just don't. They don't. When Owen Power's on the ice and you're in the corner to get a puck, you as an offensive player in the offensive zone, you want those players to be aware that you're out there. No one's saying that you got to go out there and blow somebody through the boards, but you want some awareness that when Owen Power's out there, and I just don't think teams fear him. They don't fear playing against him. They're not afraid to play against him. And they should be, with his wingspan, his size, his natural skating ability. That's a player that teams should hate playing against. And right now, I just don't feel like they do. They don't. And again, growing pains, I just feel that it's going to take time. But right now, it's not happening. He's not getting it done. And like I said, I would have kept him off call out Herb Brooks, kept him after the game and make him work now. Him and Tage, because that was a joke. It's rough when the Bandits crowd in a snowstorm draws more fans to the KeyBank than the Sabres games. Yeah, I agree. Their Bandits are exciting. Indoor lacrosse, it is exciting. It just is a lot of exciting. You have the in-game music. There's a DJ. Like a lot of it. It is a very exciting atmosphere. That being said, yeah, I mean, over a decade ago when this team was a playoff contender, was a Stanley Cup contender, like you couldn't turn a corner without seeing somebody in a Sabres shirt or a hat or or a hoodie or a jersey. There's everywhere. And now, to the point earlier that somebody made, like future generation of Sabres fans just don't know what it's like to have a winning hockey team, and it's fucking depressing, man. It really, really is. I'm not saying he's a bust. It's just the way he olays the puck. Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Right, Olay. What are you doing, Dorn? Lou Brown. I don't want this Olay bullshit. I get it now. Sorry, brain's working slow today. You gotta want to get in front of pucks. They talk about with Josh Allen. Josh Allen doesn't really get into a game until he gets hit, and he loves that. You should be embracing contact. Embrace it. Embrace the physical stuff. Embrace it. It gets you more engaged in the game. As a goalie growing up, I love getting peppered really quick because it gets you involved in the game. I hate sitting back there just not taking pucks. I hated it because you're not engaged. Sometimes you just got to get yourself engaged. Maybe throw a big hit, get yourself into a scrum, block a shot. Like, I don't know. Like, these guys just don't get themselves engaged until way too late in the start of the game. I don't know. You just need more fire, more passion, and more urgency from this team from the time they drop the puck, and it's just not there. And it's just embarrassing. You're playing a team in a must-win game. Again, as I said to start the show, where it's must-win. They're in a wild card spot. They're in your division. I mean, this game, in this stretch of games that UPL has played, this was the most important, right? It was. This was the most important one to win. You could afford to lose Chicago, but you couldn't afford to lose this one. Because at the end of the day, the Chicago Blackhawks, they're not even in your conference. They're a basement dweller. Like they're not going to hurt you in the standings when a push comes to shove in your division and your conference. You kind of hurt you, the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the fact that you didn't show up for the first 30 minutes of this game, that should be very concerning. And it just, what is Kevin Adams watching from this team that makes him think that this is okay? You can't start the season saying that playoffs are the goal, Stanley Cup is a goal, but then watch this team come out the way they do to start most games and think that this is the right path for this team, development, everything. That's another thing too. Mauricio brings up, why didn't Robinson play? I know Cousins is back in the lineup, but Eric Robinson brings a part to this. I don't get it. Why did you trade for him then? Why trade for Eric Robinson if he's going to sit for half the games? Who on this team deserves like that you're playing over him deserves that spot? He brings energy to the lineup. He brings speed. Like, I can't believe, like, again, this isn't the reason why they're losing, but surely isn't helping them win, sitting him. I don't get it. The lack of moves made by Kevin Adams in season, I just don't know. I don't know. And don't even get me started on the goaltending. The goaltending isn't the problem with this team, but the way they've handled Devin Levi, it drives me absolutely up a fucking wall. It's inexcusable. I hope he plays well tonight for the Rochester Amherst. I know he's finally getting some pucks. Hasn't played since the Seattle game. From what I've read, I think the plan is to let him play in Rochester tonight, and then they're going to bring him on the West Coast trip with them, which would be great. I'm assuming he'll probably get the Anaheim game or the LA game. I mean, they're back to back, so he's getting one of those two games. If that is the path they're taking. I don't know what more you can do with this roster and this lineup to get better results more consistently or win 3 games in a row. Obviously, this is another opportunity where you could maybe put 3 in a row. I know LA is a tough team, but you play Anaheim, you play LA, and you play and then you play San Jose. Sorry. So maybe this is a situation where you can string the 3 together for the first time this season. That's remarkable that we're halfway into the season. This team who scored as often as they did last year can't win 3 in a row. Just can't figure it out. So I don't know with the current roster, what different line combinations you keep throwing out there. That's going to get you a different result. And I think at this point, it might take moving somebody out that you wouldn't expect to shake up this team, to light a fire under somebody's ass. And I'll always keep going back to that scene from Moneyball when, who was it that was dancing? Giambi's little brother was dancing in the locker room in the clubhouse in the midst of a losing streak, and Billy Bean, played by Brad Pitt, goes out there, smashes the boombox with a baseball bat, and says, "Is losing fun? Is losing fun?" And he goes, "No." And he goes, "So why are you having fun?" And he goes, and it's a dead silence. You hear a pin drop. He goes, "That's what losing sounds like." And it definitely sends a message. At this point, flip a goddamn table, Donnie. Flip a table. Throw a fucking water cooler. Do something. Show a pulse. Like, for fuck's sake. Like, I don't know. Like, Kevin Adams and Don Granato pulse. Show a fucking pulse. Because we're in the midst of another playoffless season in a year where most of us, before free agency, said, yeah, this team's going to make the playoffs. They're going to go into free agency. They're going to make the right moves. They have a lot of cap space to work with. And then we went into the offseason before free agency thinking, man, got Zach Benson in the draft. That kid shouldn't have been where he was. This kid's going to be phenomenal. And then free agency, all you do is get fucking Connor Clifton and Eric Johnson and do nothing offensively this team other than bring back Girgensons and Okposo because of leadership or whatever. Like, this team lacks role players. This team lacks urgency, accountability, desperation. And those were the moves you made. And you had to account that there would be regression from some of these guys after the years that they just had, most of them all career highs. And the only guy that isn't regressing is JJ Paterka. I like, how can like, we all thought that this was gonna be a playoff team. We all did, and we were duped. We were bamboozled. And again, we're gonna go another offseason watching other teams play for a Stanley Cup and talking about the draft, talking about free agency, who's available, who's gonna help this team. But how can we sit here and honestly believe, judging from the way this offseason went, that we can have faith in the management and the leadership on this team? Outside of signing guys to very team-friendly deals, what has Kevin Adams shown us that makes me believe, that makes me want to buy a season ticket next year, that he is going to change things when he didn't do jack shit this offseason? Didn't do jack shit. Give me a reason to believe in Don Granato, because there is no reasons right now. Like, yeah, there was going to be regression, but not to this magnitude. This is embarrassing compared to what they were last year. At least last year was fun, even though you knew they probably weren't making playoffs. It was still fun. This isn't fun. This is embarrassing. And I'm just really, really done just investing my time, my money, my emotions into a team that just doesn't, half the time, doesn't seem like they care too much. It's embarrassing. Sick of watching backup goaltenders dominate the Sabres every home game. Sick of it. Why we already addressed that. Why wasn't Robinson playing? Brian Kuzma almost lost his cool talking about the power play on the post game. Power is a rover, not a defenseman. I don't disagree with that. He does kind of like rove out there. I agree with that. I don't got much left to say, guys. I don't really want to go through the post game comments because I got a feeling it's gonna be the same bullshit. I don't really care to talk about who scored because it was only Dylan Cousins. Again, they just lost to a good hockey team tonight. They didn't show up for half the game. They didn't play with urgency or desperation. And again, a lineup card for the Sabres that doesn't make much sense and didn't work out. And once again, in a must-win game, you had maybe one line show up out of four. And that's inexcusable. And that goes to coaching. Guys, remember, this is brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Buffalo's premier market and tap room, open 10:30 a.m. till 11:30 a.m. till 10:30 p.m. and later, 7 days a week, 8 different Western York locations with over 300 beers to choose from. Make sure you go check out Fatty Beer, one of Western York's only kid and dog friendly bars with live entertainment and trivia every week. And of course, Buffalo Logo Apparel, one of Buffalo's premier spots, premier market and tap room, one of their premier spots for all of your Buffalo sports apparel needs when it comes to your shirts, your hats, your hoodies. They have everything at Buffalo Logo Co. on Instagram and Twitter, at Fatty Beer on Instagram and Twitter. I am Duane with 2 goalies, 1 mic, signing off. I'll hang up and listen. You guys enjoy your weekend. Go Texans, so we can have a AFC Conference Championship game here in Buffalo if the Bills take care of business tomorrow. And of course, as always, go Bills, go Sabres. Road to the Super Bowl starts tomorrow, and redemption for 13 seconds. I'll hang up and listen and talk to you guys later.
secret landmark. It's a shortcut.